Hello, guys. Welcome back to the Big Screen Show. My name is Victor,
I'm Alex.
and we're back bringing you guys the last movie review of the year. Just want to say happy holidays to everybody out there. This will be our last movie review before Christmas, so Merry Christmas to all those who celebrated out there. We're recording this the day before Christmas Eve, so we're in a jolly spirit. And with that, we're getting into a big movie. You almost went to New York to see this movie early. Sadly, that didn't work out. But, Rebel Moon, Part 1, A Child of Fire, Zack Snyder's hyped, next movie, who was obviously rumored to be some next coming of Star Wars for some, and blah, blah, blah. I'm sure we all know. But first, let's get some general thoughts. Alex, I want to get your thoughts on Rebel Moon.
For me, honestly, the movie was about what I expected it to be.
Really?
Yeah, honestly, I didn't, because honestly, I never, honestly, I know it's been getting a lot of pretty much reviews of being, like, bombed or hated on, but I still honestly pretty much enjoyed it. And, like, even though its story is, like, pretty bare minimum, but, like, from the trailer, even from, like, the synopsis itself, you're pretty much knowing what it's going to be, especially since it was, like, announced it's going to be, like, a two-parter, where the first movie is basically just, like, gathering up warriors to protect a small village.
Right.
And that's it. But I will say what I enjoyed most about this movie is that basically you're just going through the world of Rebel Moon itself, where even with its opening and even the character moments, it still works pretty strongly and very well. Because like every time there was like a new location it was going to, it felt like so lived in. It felt like so real, as if it could exist. And not to mention that the character designs for like this different species, different creature, different people of these different planets and everything, it looks up very well. Especially considering how like everything wasn't just like all CG. It was actually like on site locations that was actually built within using VFX for most of it built in.
Yeah.
Yeah, which honestly, it's a really good blend. I think blends the world so well.
Mm-hmm.
It's like color. It's like has good colorful moments, and color that's really colorful, but it can be dark, and depending on like the locations and planets.
Right.
But really great location, really good like world building as you're just going through it. Characters are interesting, even though we don't get much to their backstory. It's mentioned, but I know we're gonna get more of it within like the sequel. But for it is for like gathering, it does its job very well. But with how Zach directs this movie, it just feels like this very big, wide spectacle. And, and even though people complain about this, I actually enjoyed the use of like the slow motion, especially when they get these like still motion scenes that just feels like you stop there and this feels like a piece of art that go on like a poster. It looks so amazing, just beautiful.
Yeah, definitely. What do you rate it?
Yeah, for me, I actually give this movie an 8 out of 10 because even though story and script is like the minimum, it's not terrible, but what's really going off of is really just like going and experiencing this whole new world that Zack Snyder created, and it's just so beautiful, adventurous, and go interesting. And it's like you just kind of get all caught up in it, where it's like it's easy forgivable for how like bare the story is, because like the whole world itself just kind of carries it forward.
I totally agree. My thoughts on Rebel Moon are very similar to yours, if anything. But honestly, the slow mo, have no problem with it. The CG slash practical kind of blend was actually very nice for a change, because obviously with these big blockbuster movies of this type, I would say, i.e. Star Wars, Marvel, things like this, it's just like fully CG and it's just like everywhere. So this was a nice change of pace with having a nice, decent blend between the both of them. And everything worked out really well. I really liked the story. Yes, it is very simple, but it's a part one. We're like kind of just planting the seeds, we're just kind of going through the motions, kind of giving you enough to, at least how I looked at it, was enough to hook you enough to want to see the second one. At least that's how I looked at it. Because it didn't want to peel back the curtain too much, I could tell, but give you enough backstory to where you're intrigued and you want to kind of come back to see more and for the second part, which I'm totally in that category. I've been reading up on some reviews out there, and some people are being way too harsh about it. I think rating this movie a 1, a 2, a 4 is insane to me. Like, I don't care who you are. This movie is not horrible. Like, come on. Like, it's literally, if anything, it's a good one-time watch. Like, it's literally not unbearable. That's absurd. I think people are just really hating on it due to the volatile nature of Zack Snyder and his films and his, catalog and things like this. But it's unfair to the movie, I think, and I think the movie was pretty solid. I'm intrigued. I definitely, while watching it, lost myself in the world, and just like wanted. I was locked in. Like, I was like completely forgot about everything else that was going on, and I was like really intrigued by everything and all the new planets that you go to, and like just going through these, like, meeting new people, and like, I don't know. I found it very intriguing. If anything, it's not a perfect movie by any means, and it's not flawless, and it's not the next coming of Star Wars as was, predicted by some, but I think it's actually a very solid movie, and the only other movie I think that stands near it this year, as far as sci-fi films are concerned, is really The Creator. So, for me, I have to rate it the same, 8 out of 10. I think it was pretty solid, and I would definitely recommend it to somebody who likes sci-fi and stuff like this, and Star Wars, and things that we nerds love. I definitely think it's in that realm for people that like that kind of stuff, and I think people would enjoy it. But some people are being way too harsh in this movie. But we're not gonna go too far down that road. 8 out of 10 for the both of us. One thumb up. Solid. Actually, I just did two. One thumb up. But solid. Yeah, I think definitely, if you haven't seen it, definitely go check it out. Rebel Moon. It's on Netflix. Definitely check it out. But we're gonna get into some spoiler territory. So if you haven't seen the movie, please click off the video. If you don't want it spoiled, we're going to get into some spoiler territory. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you don't know how things work around here, we try to bring you guys videos at least once a week. So please hit that subscribe button and join us. We'd be really appreciative of that. And if you like this video, please make sure to hit the like button, because that's the best way to let us know that you like the video. Now, with that being said, I want to hear your thoughts on the main character.
For main character, Cora, played by Sofia Boutella. I thought
she was fierce.
Oh yeah, she definitely was fierce, and it's crazy because, like, I honestly did not think that I would actually like her the best out of everybody else.
Right.
I honestly
especially at the start, I was like, oh, she's cool, but as it goes on, I was like, yeah, she's badass.
Yeah, because she was literally a child of war. Where after the whole Slain King story that was told in like this pretty good opening crawl for like the opening movie, which again gave off very Star Wars vibes, like definitely. For the original trilogy, where it starts with like the space crawl and then opens up into space and these ships. I think that was really a good nod. I think since Zack Snyder said it was like inspired by Star Wars, and because originally it was Rebel Moon was made to actually be in a Star Wars movie, but like it was like way too like adult and dark for it to be Star Wars. So this gave him the best opportunity to make this film. So it's been like a pretty big thing in the making for him.
Right.
But yes, Cora. But yeah, Cora was definitely my favorite character, especially because like her backstory.
Yeah.
Because I think her backstory
invokes thought. It piques curiosity.
Yeah, because I think she was literally made to be a soldier, literally from birth, by the same person who basically like killed her entire family and destroyed her planet. And honestly, it really gave a very similar moment to like Infinity War with Gamora and Thanos, when Gamora was a little girl and Thanos basically adopted her. And again, he did kill like half of her species, including her parents.
Yeah, in front of her.
Yeah,
that is true. No, I agree with you. I thought at the beginning, I wouldn't say I like disliked her or anything. I just was like indifferent. I was like, oh, okay, like didn't seem anything to write home about, I guess. And as it goes forward, I think really where it turned was where she saves the girl in the village from basically like getting raped or whatever. And she goes crazy on those guys, and I was like, yo, wait, she's badass. Like, I was like, she's sick. And as it progresses, she just has this like fierce tendency to her. She's not playing games. You're not gonna mess with her. Like, she like, oh, I don't know. I was like, yo, she's fire. I was really like a fan of her for sure. That character is definitely my favorite so far. And her backstory, like you said, is really intriguing. Which outside of, like you said, the Slaying King and that whole bit of backstory, hers is the only backstory we get when it comes to the characters we meet and go on this journey on. And I thought that as well was really intriguing because it's like you said, she basically had to. She was built to be a soldier by the people who destroyed where the home she was from, basically, and that in itself is already crazy. And then as she tells her stories of basically all her victories and how fierce she was in battle and how she was a decorated warrior and all this, and like going through those backstories and how they shot that and showed that, I thought sick, honestly. I was really a fan. I'm sure, again, this is like, it's so hard to kind of like talk positive about this movie because we know people out there are like being so hateful about it, but truly, I think it's just so cool. Like, again, it's not perfect or anything, but I thought that whole plot with her and like her character arc was super, super cool.
Yeah, cause honestly, she had like the best fight scene when she was trying to defend that girl Sam in like the barn or the shack. That was like the best scene of the movie that really showcased her skill set. And then the best shot I think I've seen for that movie was like literally when it was her flashback when she actually worked for like the Mother World Empire army that she was included to. Mm-hmm. And then they had this good shot where she had this flag and she was in uniform, mm-hmm. and just kind of gave this good wide open shot for it. I thought that was like, man, make me a poster of that. I want that on my wall.
Right.
That was like such my favorite shot in the movie.
Yeah. It's very cinematic. I think, if anything, you could argue, if we're doing that whole comparison with Star Wars, I think there are some moments in this movie where it's actually more cinematic than things in Star Wars. I would argue.
Especially compared to like the sequel trilogy.
Right, exactly. That's literally what I was about to say. So, I mean, yeah, but I agree. That shot was totally sick. And so, obviously, that's the main character, and she gets introduced to... She lives in this village after she's far removed from the days of being with the Mother World, aka, like, the Empire, right? The people who rule the universe, I guess. And the Mother World comes to attack this little village that she's lived on for what they said was 2 seasons, which we yet don't know how much time that is in this world or in this universe, but 2 seasons, how much time she's been there. And so, long story short, they basically are going to destroy that village. And so she has to gear up for a battle against the big bads, obviously the people who control the entire universe, the Mother World. And so her and a farmer and Gunner who lived in that village go and try to find people to join their cause. And so we go on this journey, and I think it was really cool going to the different planets and meeting different people and kind of gathering like a weird group of misfits, if you will, but each of them were so intriguing in their own way. I did not. Did you know the King Arthur guy was in this movie? I like that. I didn't know.
He's like one of my favorite actors, Charlie Hunnam, playing the character Kai in the film. I was like, oh yeah. I honestly thought he was actually gonna be my favorite character in this film, but he wasn't.
I didn't trust him from the jump. Yeah. I didn't trust him from the jump. I saw that one coming. Although he did. I didn't trust him from the moment they met and he like tagged along. I was like, that's not gonna do well. But as time went by, and he had that conversation with her, and I was like, okay, maybe he is like really just a nice guy. And then of course
we find out that he basically betrayed them all and alerted like Admiral Atticus Noble, who's like the main leader leading the whole like assault and taking control of Cora and Gunner's village and stuff like that. But honestly, yeah, even Charlie Hunnam said in an interview that Kai is like a bit of a scoundrel, but like I always thought he was gonna be like the Han Solo type of scoundrel, going on like that. But like no, he was like just straight. He was like just straight up evil, straight doing this. Rotten. Yeah, straight up, and like
that cool.
But yeah, I did have my suspicions of him, but like I had a feeling it was coming, but like the way that it was shown when it was finally revealed, it was like probably like the most climactic moment of the movie that kind of sets the stage for what's gonna come in the sequel.
Yeah, definitely. I will say this though, this movie had a lot of this movie had a very intense moment, at least for me, that when I'm backtracking a little bit, but in the moment where they, Atticus comes and they finally see, like, when they're in the village and they see the motherworld ship and the Atticus comes, and he's the leader meeting the leader of the village, and they have that whole conversation, that standoff where, like, the whole entire village is watching versus, like, you have all these, like, motherworld troopers over here and, like, all this, like, I was like, whoa, I was like, this is very intense. You know, that's the beginning of the movie. Like, I was like, that was like the moment where I got hooked. That was the moment for me. Like, from that point on, I was sold. I was like, okay, I'm in. Because before that, I don't want to say I was lacking attention, but I was just more so waiting for some kind of development.
The plot to further.
Right, yeah, some kind of development, something to really grasp me and make me emotionally get into the watching of the movie, and that was that moment for me. Especially because he just straight up killed him, and I was like, oh my god, like, holy cow. Like, I was like, wow. And so from that point on, I mean, I thought that was a very intense moment. And from that point on, I was like, I was sold on you know, being locked in with the movie emotionally and you know, and everything else. But I agree with you, going back to the future of this movie. That moment, that definitely, once they got betrayed, was definitely like the point of all points in this movie, no doubt. Which is fine. I think it's not a huge thing, but it's just like, we have to understand it's a part one.
It's just setting the stage.
And it's just setting the stage, and I'm okay with that. I'm so okay with that. When you title it Part 1, you should expect such a thing.
Exactly.
And people, and whatever, I'm not going to get into what people think. We're going to focus on us here today. But I thought, like I said, I was very prepared for that kind of vibe for this 2 hour and some change. And I was completely okay with that. And for that, I was really expecting it to come to a point where it's like, okay, we're going to have some kind of a showdown, but it's not going to be the end all be all, you know? And that's fine. And that's what it was. And it was a big win for the cause, if anything, honestly. Because he's not dead.
No, he's not dead.
Dang it. I was kind of mad because I hate the guy, but he's good.
Yeah.
He's good.
He got that intensity. He's like, I will do whatever it takes to kill them, and I will gain greater glory for myself.
Yeah. Well, dude, I was like, holy cow. Also, okay, wait, let's talk about this really quick. The technology in this world, like the robots and this scorpion thing where it's like the box where it captures the prisoners or whatever.
Yeah, basically becomes like a little like prison type thing.
It's
that
literally like
holds
a scorpion thing. It restrains them, and then you're able to kill them in it as well.
Or even paralyzed, actually.
Okay, yeah. And thoughts on that? I was like, this is cool. This is different.
Oh yeah, the technology and stuff is like, again, it gives off very similar vibes for Star Wars, but it's very different enough where honestly it kind of seems a bit more cooler to me compared to how it is, like, you know, because like, you know, they have
I'm sure you thought the guns were cooler too.
Oh, dude, I love the guns. Those are my favorite. Those are my favorite.
I knew you. Yeah, I knew you would. Because it's like more gun-like than just like laser shooters, like in Star Wars.
Because it still functions the same as like any regular weapon or gun or rifle.
They reload.
Yeah, they reload with like these mag pack and stuff in there. Yeah. I thought like, oh my god, that is so cool. Because like, you know me, I love Star Wars with like laser guns.
Right.
But like something about these type of laser guns that still function if it was like a real regular gun that we use, it just seems like so much cooler to me. I was like, and I was like, literally whenever they were using those, I was like, oh my god, I want one of those. Is there a prop I can buy to get one of those? You know,
I already knew it as I was watching. We watched it separately, but I already knew you were down with the guns, because when I saw them, I was like, yo, that's sick. I was like, that's really dope. And you still have like, you know, it still shoots out like a red laser or whatever, but it's like different. And speaking of the weapons, I forget her name.
Nemesis.
You talking the swords?
Yeah, the swords woman.
Dude, oh my god, that was sick. I was like, you know, it's like the closest thing to lightsabers, but that's not what I want. This is just different. The effect it had visually, how they made it in post with like this kind of trail it had, like when she waved it, it like had like a little trail
around and crossing on the ground like that.
And
it was smooth. It was smooth.
Sick. I was like, those are definitely my favorite weapons in this universe so far. I thought that was like super super sick. I was like freaking out when I saw those. I was like, yo, what? Sick. Honestly, I don't know why she didn't start just using those at the beginning of the fight with the Spider Woman or whatever.
Yeah, I think that's always because like she's mostly just showcasing her skills first and foremost. Because Zack Snyder said when talking about the character, she basically says like whenever she's bringing out the swords and she doesn't light them up, that means she's just kind of playing around, kind of toying with you. So like he was just trying to get like the feel for the enemy types. But then when she actually starts lighting up those swords, that means she's done playing around. Like you are gonna die.
Right.
And like I think, and yeah, it really shows that she's skilled even without having to like use them lethally. I think that was a really amazing and a great introduction to her character as a swordswoman.
Yeah. No, I think it's cool because we have like Kara, who is, I guess, an all-arounder, but really good with hand-to-hand combat and a gun and the
Blades.
weapons of this world and really everything. She's just all around just a warrior. Then we have Nemesis, who's a swordswoman that's sick, and then we have what's like the Tarzan looking dude?
Oh,
Tarek, who is like probably he's just a beast, right? Like he's just like a tank in himself. Like he seems like a true warrior. He seems like he's from the Amazon, really, but we don't know much of his homeworld. But we found him in a different planet. But he's like a completely different character, and then we have General Titus, who I don't know. We only just saw him use the gun, so we don't really know what his forte is. But really, actually, no, his forte is more his mind. He's really good skilled in planning combat and stuff. So we have like a good batch of degenerates that are all specializing good in all these different things, and I like them. I like the team up. I like the group. I like the people we went and got for the cause. Honestly, I do. I just do.
Yeah, I also would like how basically the lore is pretty much established and just feels lived in. Because like, everything from like, the technology, even to like the details on the costume sets and everything that they're all wearing, there's like so much detail put in where it feels like really very established. And like you don't really have to explain too much of it, but you can just see it in action. Because honestly, the Motherworld Army's outfits were like the best ones for me. Because like, it looked they had like, armor type weaponry that seems like kind of ancient, but it also had that bit of like modernality, whereas like in the lower parts and around the chest, around the belly area, they basically had like these like mag pouches for when they had to reload their weaponry and stuff like that. Right. It's like the best modern type of armor and stuff that I would want to wear. And I'm in the Air Force, and the fact that I'm saying that just tells a whole lot.
That definitely does. Yeah, and so we get that win. Once we got betrayed, we were able to fend off. We lost some troops though, which was kind of sad. I was not expecting them to kill the brother,
Darian Bloodaxe, the revolutionary.
Yeah, I was not expecting him to die this quickly. I was kind of sad because I wanted to. He looked badass to me. I thought he was cool.
Yeah, the dude was passionate because you can tell he had no hesitation to want to go back with them.
Yeah, I liked his vigor. He was excited. He was not excited. He was motivated, and he was passionate, and he was willing. And I like that about him. So, yeah, kind of sad he died. Honestly.
Yeah, but I think it also does a good job of really showing like the stakes of the mission, and also how how it shows how much of a big impact that Kai's betrayal actually does. Because normally in some other situations,
that's true.
These guys would like all survive because they're so badass.
Right,
but the fact that they actually lost a critical member kind of shows how even though they gotta win, it's still a heavy loss, and it's not going to be easy going down the line.
Yeah. That's true. Definitely in the Star Wars world, they'd probably all live.
Or just injured and hospitalized.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, it's good. You're right. It invokes a more of like it's a win, but it's bittersweet. So you're right. I agree with you.
But I do expect his sister. I do actually expect his sister Devra to come in.
Oh,
in
definitely.
The
Definitely.
Because that.
Because if anything, she just wants to avenge the brother.
Oh yeah.
If anything, but maybe even more than that, maybe it should actually buy into the cause itself as well.
Well, she's always going to be about the cause. It's just the fact that she thinks of it more as strategy first, whereas her brother was like the more passionate one, just going in head first.
Right.
But I'm pretty sure she is going to go for her brother, but also because she's definitely going to see a major strategic advantage to want to help out even more so.
I wanted to get your thoughts at the end. Near the end, we see. I don't even know. Obviously, there was no name, so we don't know what these things are called, but this Matrix-like tubing and like
Yeah.
kind of revival of, like I don't even know what would you I don't know, but you know what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah, I know
like,
what you're talking about. It did give off. It did give very Matrix
Very
vibe
Matrix.
because like they literally opened up like the back of Atticus's like head to reveal a port, and that's like very Matrix, and him just basically like jacking in into like this like digital type of space something like that, so he
Yeah.
could talk with his leader.
Yeah. What were your thoughts on that? I thought again, it's different, right? Like it's different. Like again, we've seen it in Matrix, which is also sci-fi, but I feel like what Zack Snyder is doing is grabbing a little bit of grabbing inspiration from all these different franchises and worlds and things we love in sci-fi, and just putting them all into this in different parts and different ways and ways that make sense. And I'm here for it. Like that is like Matrix, and like the core thing is like Gamora, so like MCU, and then like blasters and things and like being out in space and like ships and stuff is like Star Wars. It's like it's a lot of different inspiration from a lot of different places, I'm here for it. I really am. I think it's cool. I think it's cool.
Oh yeah, even you can tell that Zack Snyder is really doing that even with like the different planets and locations. Because like even in parts of the movie where let's say it was in like the port of Providence on Velt, it had this very Japanese style village vibes and everything. And then in the farming village that Cora and Gunnar are part of, it felt like a very Vikingish type area, and with the housing and like this basically like you're doing just this like, work is like being part of the land and everything.
Exactly.
And then even parts of of the planet where they found Nemesis, it's like a very industrial planet. Everything.
I was very cyberpunky Blade Runner world type thing.
Yeah, that's like that was more for like where they actually had found the Blood Axe siblings in that area.
No, you know what that place reminded me of, or where they actually found them? Oh man, it was the planet where Ahsoka traveled in the whales and Ahsoka, and they went to that other universe, other galaxy, and they went to that planet, and it had these big things. It even had like the rings and stuff on these like pillars, and it seemed like a desolate place, just like darker instead of bright. It seemed like if you grabbed that world and that planet and like made it dark, like just like no sun, and instead of being bright, I feel like that's what it would look like. Like it was giving me so much vibes of that, honestly.
Yeah, let's do it. And also even like the planet where they found Titus on, the moon of Pollux, which is basically a gladiator arena area where they found him. And you can definitely tell that even though Zack Snyder is definitely taking bits and pieces for like movies, I think he's also getting into bits of like different cultures and everything too.
Yeah, definitely.
Which I honestly like, because like even Zack Snyder had said, like just like George Lucas, he was inspired by like the Akira Kurosawa films, like those black and white samurai films, like Seven Samurai, Yojimbo, and even like the Western movies that basically had like a same type of premise, like The Magnificent Seven, was basically recruiting these like outlaw cowboy guys to basically help defend this village from like these other type of dangerous more outlaws. Because like even then. Also, even going into the different planets or like these different type of shots or like the way the world looks within like a certain frame and coloring is even Zack Snyder had said that he was basically inspired by heavy metal magazines, which obviously shows a lot for like some places where they are could be very heavy metal, like where they found Nemesis in this very dark area with her lighting up her little sabers and things like that. I really like that because like he does what George Lucas did with Star Wars, but Snyder is really making it like even more explicit out in the open. That goes with his specific style and how he wants to with his creativity.
Yeah,
and I honestly think that's what makes this world feel like so very like breathtaking, and why even though the story is simple, we're just really experiencing this whole world and just relishing in it. Like we want more. We want to see more.
Exactly. That's what I think. That's why it actually works to its favor. And here's what I mean. If it was a complex plot in itself for a first movie, and you're getting introduced to all these new things, that could get very messy really quick.
It'd get overwhelming.
Yeah, overwhelming. I'm sorry. That's the perfect word, and that's exactly what I meant. You're right. It could get very overwhelming. It could get very yeah, it's just sensory overload. You're intaking a lot of information and you're seeing a lot of new things, and you have to follow along with a plot that's like very complex. I'm okay with the easygoing plot and you showing me this like new, completely new thing that I've never seen before, so that I can follow along, but also just really take it all in. And hopefully, here's where I think the big payout will be, obviously, and I'm sure you'll agree with me, is if you go super simple in part two and kind of make it basic to the bones in part two, then I'll kind of be disappointed. But I hope we kind of get more of that oomph that I was that not even I'm not even gonna say was expecting, but more so that I desire from this universe and from this story. I hope we get that in part two, and if we do, I think it'd be a super solid two-parter type of thing, because he could really, if he really like goes like if part two goes like really super hard, I'll actually be super hyped.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, I agree with you 100%. Because the way he went simple with this one, it's gotta mean he's gonna be doing like this huge major blowout for part two.
I hope so.
And I think also this also means that since we focused on Korra, since it was mainly about her and her recruiting, I feel like the next movie, part two, is gonna be more about the members that she recruited, and we get to know more about their backstories.
I hope so, man. I hope so, because they're so cool. I would love to know more of their backstory. Like, we know bits, but not enough for like a lot of character development, if you will. I think obviously the most character development we got was Korra, obviously,
And
Gunner, right? But apart from that, but he developed in a different way. He developed from the point we met him to the point the movie ended. Whereas with Korra, we got character development from like going from her past to where she is currently in this. As we follow her through the movie, basically, I don't think she developed too much as the movie went on, because that's just who she was at this point. But we got backstory, so we got that character development where when we meet Gunner at the beginning of the movie to the point where the movie ends and Gunner, the person he is then, that was a different type of character development. But I agree. I would love to get more backstory on the rest of the team. And I'm honestly super curious about how this big battle is going to go down, because the Mother World does seem very ruthless. And they do. They are world destroyers. They don't care. They're just that's the word, right? Ruthless. Like they're just tearing and mowing through planets, and they have the equivalent of the Death Star, if you will, because they have the gun on their ship, the King's Gaze, that will literally destroy planets.
Yeah.
Which I thought was like crazy. Obviously, a clear nod to Star Wars right there.
Yeah.
But I was like, whoa, because like this could get really messy really quick. Couldn't they just like shoot that right to the village and then it's like game over? So I'm like really excited to see how they actually go up against them in the second part.
Yeah, for sure, definitely. Even more stakes is that now, since that Atticus, he survived the end, he basically then warned the leader, like the Delsarius. I forgot his name.
Belisarius.
Yeah, yes. Delsarius, who we found out from Korra's flashback is her adopted father.
Right.
And so that's basically going to be like a real big
I'm sure they're going to face off.
Oh, they got to. I'm pretty sure. And I'm pretty sure, even though he probably played like, again, he's basically made her like the cold assassin type, like military, like the perfect soldier.
She is who she is, dude, because of him.
Yeah, so I'm just going, them going against each other is probably gonna be a big emotional climax for Korra for that final mounts. But all in all, the dude is basically just made for is all out. I'm doing this for the Mother World, because like I think it was that he slayed the king and basically took over, and so he basically just wants everything, and so he's gonna basically see her as like a stepping stone to basically as execution.
Yeah. I'm excited, and the good thing is we already have a date, April 19th. That's when the next one comes out, so not too far away, really.
Yeah.
But I'm with it. Yeah, I'm with it. Do you have anything else to say on Rebel Moon?
Actually, yeah. For what you said about the rest of the guys, I mean, yeah, they didn't have any character development, but I will say whenever we found them, they were in a place where they were lost. But there was subtle impressions of like something they experienced.
Except for Nemesis, I would say.
No, for Nemesis, that was actually
she was like helping people in the world she was in, where the others, they were definitely lost.
Yeah, it definitely lost, and because Nemesis said she was kind of different. Where like even though she had killed people, she said there was felt like mercy in a way, because like she never felt she always felt like merciful towards them for what she had to do, and like they were all kind of forced in this position because like the mother world and everything, and then she always seems like the type where it was mentioned subtly how like she used to be a mother.
Right.
And
That's her whole thing.
Yeah, you can tell that she'd gone through like really major. Because again, she was responsible for like over like 16 assassination attempts for like Mother World and representatives and things like that.
Yeah.
So she really has this huge she has this huge pain, but she always has a way of making it feel like effective mercy, where she doesn't needlessly have a need for killing, but she does what she needs to.
She's not like a loose dog out of control. Yeah. She's very in control, and she does things very calculated, you can tell. Yeah, I like her. I like her character. I really do.
Yeah, because honestly, this is why I'm hoping. This is like I'm most excited for part 2, because I really want to go into more depth and detail of these characters' backstories, because we know it's like the most interesting thing, especially with General Titus, since again he literally led an army to go against the Mother World, but all of his men had died, and he was just left like all in shame where they found him.
Yep. Definitely. No, I agree. I definitely hope that is what happens. I don't know if it's already announced like how long part 2 is, but I hope it's definitely longer than this one, because I think it will be it will do it justice, with at least with what we desire, right? Some backstory, a big build up, more detail, and like a big climactic ending. You would assume you kind of need a longer runtime than 2 hours and 11 minutes like this one. So hopefully that's the case. But I have no more to say. Do you have anything else to say on Rebel Moon?
Only to say that the movie is not terrible as everyone's saying. The movie is very solid, and honestly, we're just like you said, we're just so very excited for part 2, and like, 2024 cannot get here enough.
Yes, I totally agree. If you're a hater, sucks. Really does. I think really it's just the volatile nature of Zack Snyder and his name and his career and his catalog, of films, and I think that is what brings on this double-edged sword of we hate it, we love it. I've seen some people rate it a 10 even, and I'm like, okay, it's not that good, right? But I do think it's a solid movie. I would say like anywhere between the range of like 5 absolute lowest to like 9 absolute max is like a decent range, but I've seen some crazy thoughts up there. So if you're one of those people, screw you. No, I'm just playing. But we definitely disagree with you. I'm just joking, guys. Happy holidays. Thank you guys so much for watching. That's going to do it for us. Rebel Moon, Part 1. Man, if you haven't seen it, go watch it. We enjoyed it, so maybe you will too. Who knows? But also you might hate it, like a lot of other people out there. So, hey, why don't you go watch it and come back, comment, let us know what you think. And if you've already seen it, also let us know what you think. Where do you stand on this very two-sided opinion? Now, with that being said, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please make sure you do so you can tag along with us and join us as we move on to 2024 and follow all the next movies that are coming. Thank you guys so much for watching. This year has been the start of our channel, but we're so excited to keep it going and get into the new year with more movies, more TV shows, more everything. We love watching all this. So if you like this video, please make sure to hit the like button. That's the best way to let us know that you like the video. But that's going to do it for us. Last movie review of 2023. We'll see you guys in 2024. This was the Big Screen Show. Peace out.